Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. The time right now is 12:17 a.m. and it is February the 9th of 2026. Past midnight into a new day. It's Monday, early hour of Monday, and I'm starting this live stream to talk about the Ukraine-Russia war. My friends, you can see that the title of this live stream is Drones in the Sky. Is the war between Ukraine and Russia ever going to stop? And I see that our friends have joined the conversation. We have Frank from Florida. We have Kay Cooper from Texas. We have Bree from Michigan. And hopefully more of our friends will be joining us very soon, because this is a topic that we all care about. This is a topic that is connected to the well-being of human beings worldwide. The war between Ukraine and Russia may be the war between Ukraine and Russia, but whether we can achieve world peace or not depends on the outcome of this war. If this war is going to be stopped, if this war will go on, that will have an impact on the prospect of world peace. My friends, I'm speaking a little softly today, as you can probably figure out. I hope you can still hear me. I'm speaking a little softly because I have my throat. It's like got a sore throat and nasal congestion, and so I'm speaking a little softly. Sometimes I can, when I'm talking about social and political issues, I get a lot of as we go deeper into the conversation, I get sometimes very excited, and I talk a little loudly, as you know by now. And today I'm going to be speaking quite softly, all right? So, yeah, nasal congestion, sore throat. What can I say? I hope you can hear me, all right? I'm pretty close to my phone here, so you should be able to hear my voice. Okay. My friends, once again, we are back here to talk about the Ukraine-Russia war. That's because, once again, there's been a major development, and it's not a positive development. No. I know when I say there's been a major development, I know that you all expect to hear something good. You all expect to hear that peace talks have progressed. I know you all want to hear that good days are coming. I know you want to hear that the war is soon going to end. But in this case, it's not a positive development. The war has intensified once again. That's right. Salerno is here. Salerno, good to see you. Others, those who are tuning in, thanks for being here. My friends, it has been 4 long years. 4 long years almost since the Ukraine-Russia war started. Can you believe that? It started in 2022 in February. 2022 in February when this war started, and here we are in February of 2026. Can you believe it's been that long? Almost 4 years of brutal conflict, 4 years of bloodshed, bloodshed on the battlefield, 4 years, 4 years of intense fighting, 4 years. My friends, years of conflict. Many people have died, and the war just goes on. Now, here's the latest. Reportedly, Russia has attacked Ukraine's energy infrastructure. And this particular attack involved 400 drones. 400 drones, and that's not all. 400 drones and dozens of missiles. And reportedly, this happened over the weekend. That's right. Ukrainian officials said on Saturday that Russia launched an attack overnight with drones and missiles. Hundreds of drones, dozens of missiles. So clearly, Russia is still in an aggressive mindset and wants to attack Ukraine's critical infrastructure. But why? But why? Is Russia trying to send a message that they are not interested in peace talks? Is Russia trying to show that they are laser focused on attacking and gaining control over more and more Ukrainian territory? Is Russia trying to send a message to the world that they will continue with the war, whatever the outcome? Think about it. Think about it, my friends. We don't know what the outcome of this war will be. We don't know yet. We can speculate, we can make guesses, but we don't know what the outcome of this war will be because we don't know when this war will end. Is this war going to end over the next few months? Is this war going to go on for years? It's been 4 years now, almost. Is it going to go on for 4 more years, 5 more years, 10 years? We don't know. My friends, that's why I've asked you the question. Do you think that the Ukraine-Russia war will end sometime over the next 12 months? Meaning sometime over the next year. Is it going to end? We don't know when this war will end. Will it ever end? And what is Russia's end goal? What is Russia's end goal? Can anyone answer that question? Can anyone answer that question? There has to be a goal. Is there something that Russia is trying to achieve? Definitely, there's something. Otherwise, why would Vladimir Putin wage this war? They have objectives. They have a goal, an end goal, something that they want to achieve. What is it? What is it, my friends? Go ahead, tell me. Share your thoughts with me in the live chat. Share your thoughts with me in the live chat. And also, my friends, make sure you're liking the video, sharing the video, subscribing to the channel if you have not done so already, okay? Please do that. That's how you support this channel. Subscribe, like, share. Now, I know you want to hear what I have to say about this, which is why you're here, which is why you're listening to this listening to what I'm saying. That's why you're here watching this video. And I'm interested to hear what you have to say. So let's keep this conversation going. I don't think that Russia is waging this war just for the sake of waging this war. Okay? I don't think that Vladimir Putin woke up one day and in the morning he decided that he's going to attack Ukraine just because he felt like doing it. No, 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 no. It's not random. It's not just a leader, an authoritarian leader, making a hasty decision. No. You know, it's easy for people to say, oh, Putin's crazy. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's doing this, he's doing that. He doesn't know what he wants. He's just doing whatever he wants to. You know, if people say stuff like that, you are really disregarding the gravity of the situation. It's easy to just say, oh, Putin's getting old and he doesn't know what he's doing. He just wanted to attack Ukraine and he did. No, it's not that simple. It's not that simple. It's just very easy to call someone crazy, to call someone, you know, reckless, so on and so forth. But remember, Vladimir Putin is someone who understands power. He has been in power for a very, very long period of time, and he is still in power. He understands power. He understands the state of the world. He has seen global politics and things evolving over decades. It's easy for people to say, oh, Putin's crazy. But if you say that, you're not really trying to understand the motives behind the actions. And I'm going to explain what I think is going on. There is an end goal that Russia has. There is an end goal that Vladimir Putin is chasing. There are objectives that he's trying to fulfill with some kind of an end goal. And what do you think that end goal is? Some might say, oh, Vladimir Putin is trying to send a message to NATO. Okay, maybe, yeah, sure. Some might say, oh, Vladimir Putin is trying to make sure that Ukraine does not get included in NATO. Maybe, if that's what you say, sure. Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's the reason. But you know what? These are some of the reasons that people will tell you. These are some of the reasons that you're going to hear television anchors talk about. These are some of the arguments that a lot of political commentators will repeat over and over again. Oh, he's trying to show his muscle and trying to show NATO that he's strong. Oh, Vladimir Putin wants to make sure that Ukraine doesn't become a part of NATO, and that's why he's doing this. Yeah, I'm not saying those are wrong. What I'm saying is that there's a deeper reason. You have to look beyond the obvious. You have to look beyond what's going on right now and what might happen over the next 3 or 5 years. You have to look at the long term. You have to look at the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years. And try to figure out what is Putin really trying to do. Now, of course, 50 years from now, there's going to be different world leaders, right? Russia is probably going to have a different leader. I don't know how much the world might change by then, but let's assume that Russia continues to be the entity that it is. 50 years from now, it's not going to be Putin in power. It's going to be somebody else. But what Putin is trying to do is is to create a pathway. He's trying to set the stage for the next Russian leader, and then the next Russian leader. He's trying to set the stage for future Russian leaders. And what is Vladimir Putin exactly trying to do? What is going on in his mind? What is his long-term vision that goes beyond the span of time that Putin will spend in power, that goes beyond his tenure in power? You have to try to go deep into Vladimir Putin's mind, and you have to try to figure out the core of his motivation. It's about land. That's right. I said it. It's about land. That's right. Yeah, Putin is trying to show his strength to NATO. Putin is trying to show his aggression and show his power to NATO. Putin is trying to prevent Ukraine from becoming a part of NATO. But the deeper reason is land. It's about expansion. Vladimir Putin has the mindset of a conqueror. That's right. Have you studied history? I'm sure you have, to some extent, right? You've studied history in school. Maybe you took some courses in college. Maybe you just like reading history books and you do that, like I do. Doesn't have to be in an academic setting. If you are somebody who's interested in learning about the past, because you got to understand the past to understand how we got to where we are, and to try to understand the trajectory and what our future may hold, you have to understand the past. You cannot disregard the study of the past. Anyone who says, oh, you don't need to read history, you don't need to read history books, you don't need to study history, is wrong. Whatever you do, you have to study history. Let's say you're a doctor. You have to study the history of medicine. You have to study the history of evolution in the field of medical science. How did human beings start to explore the medicinal power of plants? How did human beings come up with surgical procedures, right? How did we get to where we are? How did medicine evolve? If you're a mathematician, you have to study the history of mathematics. How did human beings start counting? How did we start doing maths? How did we start doing addition and subtraction and multiplication? How did the various mathematical theories come to be? If you study political science, you have to understand how governments used to be, or kings and kingdoms and emperors. How did political theory evolve? You have to study the work of the past philosophers. You have to study Aristotle. You have to study Plato, Socrates, their books. You have to, their ideas, things that they said, the philosophers of the past. You have to understand the past to figure out where we are going in the future. So similarly, if you want to understand Vladimir Putin's mindset, you have to look at the past. You have to look at the different empires across the world at different times. Hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, the empires and the emperors, and how emperors would develop a strong warrior force and battalions, and how they would go and conquer more lands and expand their empire. You got to study the history of the world, the history of empires and conquerors. And in the modern day, my friends, let me tell you, some people still have that mindset. The mindset that emperors used to have hundreds and thousands of years ago. Some people still have that mindset, like Vladimir Putin. Yes, definitely, as I said, Putin wants to show NATO that, oh, he's powerful and Russia is strong. He wants to send a message to the Western countries that he's got a mighty military. But as I said, the real reason why Vladimir Putin launched this attack and many other attacks in the past against Ukraine is because he wants to acquire more land. The reason why Vladimir Putin started this war is because he wants to acquire more land, more real estate. He wants expansion of Russia's borders. Vladimir Putin wants Russia to expand and to grow and to capture more land and become bigger than it is now. Russia is a massive country already. Just look up Russia on a map. Just look up Russia's statistics. How big is the country? How many square miles? Look it up. I mean, compared to the size of the Russian land, the population is not that big. Okay? I mean, they have a lot more land than they have people. Russia is massive. Massive. Okay? It is so big. If you have not looked at the world map in a while, I recommend that you do that right now. My friends, Putin wants more land. The end goal that Vladimir Putin has, I think, is to take all of Ukraine. That's right. He wants all of Ukraine. He doesn't want a part of Ukraine. He doesn't want 10% or 20% or 25% or half of Ukraine. Vladimir Putin wants all of Ukraine. That's his goal. This is not about taking away 50% of Ukraine. Talk about annexation. He wants 100% of Ukraine. Vladimir Putin wants Russia to absorb Ukraine into its territory. It's very obvious. Now, whether he will achieve in his mission, that we're going to be talking about, because we don't want this war to go on. We want the Ukraine-Russia war to come to an end. Because of Vladimir Putin's decision to wage this war, so many lives have been lost on both sides. Russian lives. Russian people have died. Ukrainian people have died. It's all because of Vladimir Putin and his aggressive decision making. So many lives have been lost. We want this war to end. We want this war to end right now. But what Putin wants is all of Ukraine. He wants all of Ukraine, 100% of Ukraine. Putin wants to capture. My friends, what Vladimir Putin is doing is he's buying time. He's buying time. Right now, things are very, very difficult for Vladimir Putin because Donald Trump is in the White House. Because Vladimir Putin knows that Donald Trump means what he says. Vladimir Putin knows that Donald Trump is the greatest leader in the world. And so Putin understands that, oh, he started the war when Joe Biden was in office, but now that Donald Trump is in office, it's become difficult for Putin. He wants to capture all of Ukraine, but Putin cannot do that because Donald Trump is in the White House. But you know what? Vladimir Putin, in a very, very clever manner, is delaying peace talks. He is delaying reaching an agreement for long-term ceasefire. Vladimir Putin is just delaying. He's buying more time. Vladimir Putin is trying to drag this matter until the end of 2028. Vladimir Putin is hoping that a change in leadership in the White House would happen after 2028, and then Putin thinks that he can make his next move and capture all of Ukraine. That's what Vladimir Putin is hoping for. That's the only explanation for Putin's strategy of dragging the war longer. My friends, I have a question in the live chat. You can answer that. The question is, do you think that the Ukraine-Russia war will end sometime over the next 12 months? Please say yes or no, whatever you think is the answer. My friends, Putin thinks that after President Trump completes his second term in office, there's going to be a new president in 2029. And Putin is hoping that if he can keep applying pressure on Ukraine until then it would allow him time to plan a complete takeover of Ukraine eventually. This is extremely concerning for the whole world. This is very, very alarming. If Russia absorbs more Ukrainian land, there's greater risk of World War III. We don't want that, right? We don't want World War III. We do not want another world war. We want greater peace. We want peace for the whole world. President Trump has been doing everything possible to diffuse the situation, to ease the tension, and to try to end the Ukraine-Russia war. But obviously, there's more work to be done. Hold on a second. I'm gonna... okay. Let's see. All right, lots of people watching this. Yeah, make sure you are subscribed, okay? Thanks for being here, everyone. President Trump has been doing everything possible to end this war, but there's more work to be done. And President Trump, let me tell you this, he has been very patient, but he has also been very persistent. And President Trump has a great team that is working to achieve a solution, that is working to achieve an end of this brutal conflict, this brutal war. but there's more work left to be done. There has to be pressure on Russia from all possible angles. Keep that in mind, my friends. Keep that in mind. The oil money has to stop flowing. The more Russia makes money from the sale of oil, the more it'll keep funding the war. Russia pretty much has to be cornered. Russia has to be pushed to a corner so that Vladimir Putin has no other options left but to withdraw from Ukraine. And it is possible to push Russia into a situation like that. It is possible to defeat Vladimir Putin, to compel him to come to a solution for long-term ceasefire, for a complete end of this conflict. It's just a matter of time. The Western allies, the United States and Europe and other countries, will have to achieve a solution. Time is of the essence. Some might say that the longer the war goes on, the more exhausted Russia is going to be. Well, that may be true. But also keep in mind, the longer the war goes on, the greater the risk that Ukraine might lose more and more of its resources. My friends, by resources, I mean military personnel, I mean critical infrastructure, and of course, money. So yes, the longer the war goes on, the more exhausted Russia is going to be, but also Ukraine will lose more and more of its resources, critical infrastructure, and personnel and money, the longer the war goes on. So both sides will suffer. But we know that Putin wants to keep going, keep continuing with this war. And so the war must be stopped as soon as possible. As soon as possible. The war must be stopped as soon as possible. What do you think the solution is? Let me know your thoughts, my friends. I'm going to open this up to questions. So if you have thoughts you want to share, go right ahead. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what your thoughts are. You can ask me questions if you want to. If you have expertise on this issue, you can share your expertise, share your analysis. If you have an analysis you want to share, go ahead. Any questions for me? All right. I'm not seeing much of a conversation since I put this in subscriber only mode. You know, that's the solution to address the issue of trolling. You got a lot of trolls who show up. They don't want to add anything meaningful to the conversation. They just want to disrupt. And so I put it in subscriber only mode. That takes care of the trolls. Because you know what the trolls do? They don't want to subscribe. They will not subscribe. Okay. All right. Okay. So, yeah, question that I've asked. Do you think that the Ukraine-Russia war will end sometime over the next 12 months? Yes or no? You can answer that in the live chat. Okay, someone's asking, are you a Trump supporter? Obviously. You can see my hat. Thank you. I appreciate that question. Yes, I'm a Trump supporter. Absolutely. I voted for Donald Trump in 2016, in 2020, and in 2024. So yeah, I'm a Trump supporter, clearly. You can see my hat. It says Make America Great Again. Okay, I got a question here. Do you think the war will last longer than a year? Well, it's been 4 years already, and the war is continuing. Is it going to go on for 12 more months or beyond? I don't know. I don't know. I would like to be able to present a prediction, but I really don't want to do that because this situation is in a way beyond analysis. Okay, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I don't think anyone can make that prediction. I mean, yes, you can, if you have like 20 people in front of you and you ask them to make a prediction, each person gives his or her own prediction, somebody is going to be right. I mean, just statistically, the more people you ask, somebody will end up giving you an answer that turns out to be right. And it's like we don't know. There's no logical, what's the word I'm looking for? So if I try to give to you an analysis and I say, okay, this is happening, the next step will be this. If Trump does this, then this is how Putin will respond, and then so on and so forth. Okay, then I give you a complex scenario and I say, okay, if all of these things happen, then the war is going to end in 6 months. There's no such analysis that anyone can present. What people can do is just simply make a guess. Just simply say, okay, yeah, the war is going to end in 6 months or 7 months, or the war is going to end in the next, 18 months. We can only make guesses. There's no way to give a concrete answer with full confidence and say, okay, this is what's going to happen. Okay? And I'm not going to attempt to do that. But I will tell you that I'm extremely concerned about this whole situation, all right? Excuse me, my friends. I got sore throat and congestion and hold on a second. So yeah, I don't know the answer. Yeah, by the way, I'm not going to continue this live stream today for too long because I don't want to put more pressure on my voice, okay? Victoria is saying that there might be a bigger crisis. If this goes on, it will lead to a bigger crisis, okay? I mean, this is a war that may get out of control. I mean, so far, it seems like it has sort of been contained. Like it's happening. The war is going on. Drones are flying, and the missiles are flying, and destruction's happening. Lives are being lost. But it's happening in a region. It's happening in a certain part of the world. But if this goes on, and if this goes on beyond Donald Trump's term in office, okay? If this okay, someone's saying it hasn't been contained. No, by contained, I don't mean that the intensity of the war has subsided. No, I mean it's happening in a certain part of the world. Okay, it's happening in a very specific region of the world. It's not dragging other countries. Yeah, I mean, it's not a full-scale world war, is what I mean. Okay, maybe I should be a little bit more clear with my words there. But I am afraid if this goes on, if this war goes on beyond Donald Trump's term in office, we don't know who the next president will be. Is it going to be a Democrat? Is it going to be a Republican? I hope it's a Republican. I'm a Republican. I want to vote for a Republican to be the next president. I want to see Republican leadership continue in the White House. But we can't guarantee anything. It could be a Democrat, or it could be a Republican, but somebody who is very different compared to Donald Trump, right? You could have a Republican that who has a very different mindset, who has a very different personality, who has a very different approach to international relations. So that's why I'm saying if this war, if the Ukraine-Russia war goes beyond Donald Trump's term in office, it's going to be a very big problem for the world. Because you don't know if the next president, whoever that may be, if that person is going to be able to apply the same kind of strategy, apply the same kind of pressure, apply the same kind of, diplomatic techniques that Donald Trump and his administration can do. Okay? I mean, Donald Trump can apply a lot of pressure on Russia. Donald Trump can deploy resources to put more and more pressure on Russia and to compel Russia to withdraw. It hasn't happened yet. Russia has not withdrawn, but maybe we will get there soon. But if this war goes on and Donald Trump completes his term and he leaves office, who knows if the next president will be able to handle this situation? Who knows if the next president, Democrat or Republican, if the next president will be able to stop Russia from expanding aggressively? That is my concern. I mean, look, we saw what happened. Donald Trump, during his first term in office, he was doing great. And then, as soon as he left office and Joe Biden came in 2022, Russia launched this attack because Vladimir Putin saw an opening. When Donald Trump was in office during his first term, Vladimir Putin did not dare to do anything, make any aggressive move. But as soon as Joe Biden came in, Vladimir Putin launched the attack against Ukraine. And I'm afraid that Vladimir Putin is going to try to drag this matter on further for a few more years. Vladimir Putin will try to see an opening again after Donald Trump leaves office, whoever the next president will be. And if it ends up being a Democrat, it's going to be devastating because then Vladimir Putin will complete the job that he started. He's going to take over Ukraine. After Donald Trump, if this war goes on, and if Donald Trump completes his term and leaves office, and if a Democrat comes in, becomes the next president, Vladimir Putin's going to take over all of Ukraine. And that is going to be devastating for the whole world. And that's why I'm saying what I'm noticing, what I'm observing, that Putin is just buying time. He's delaying, he's delaying, he's delaying. And after every certain interval, Putin just, you know, turns up the temperature by launching a sudden attack. I mean, the war is going on, but after every interval, what Putin does is he escalates things. He'll send jets over NATO airspace, European airspace, unauthorized jets entering European airspace, Russian jets, Russian drones entering European airspace. He tries to poke NATO countries. He tries to escalate matters, escalate tension. Or he will launch some kind of an attack on Ukraine, like something overnight, like just what we saw in the reports, 400 drones and dozens of missiles. So the war goes on and on and on, and then after every certain interval, Putin just does something super aggressive, and then once again it goes on and on and on, and then again something very aggressive. So he's dragging this on. And so the solution has to come while President Trump is still in office. Because I don't know who the next person will be in the White House. And if that person will be able to stop this war if it doesn't stop during Trump's term in office. I don't know if you agree with my analysis. I'm just sharing what I have in mind. You can let me know if you agree with me or you don't. That's fine. At the end of the day, no one knows what's going to happen. So whatever I'm saying, it's just my humble analysis. All right. Any more questions for me, my friends? Go ahead, ask me whatever questions you have. I really need to give my voice rest, okay? That's why I'm having this tea with honey. And anyway, I think I've talked enough. Evelyn's asking, how's your arm, Toss? My arm's doing okay. You saw me, it has been many weeks. I was wearing the splint, right? My arm's doing fine. I do have some aches and pains, but it's doing mostly okay. And right now my issue is sore throat. Okay, sore throat and nasal congestion. So yeah. All right, this viewer is saying add ginger. Yep. I do make tea with cardamom, cinnamon, not in the powder form, just like the pieces. Cardamom, cinnamon, clove, which is very good. Bay leaf, all right, bay leaf. Yeah, it's pretty good. And then you can make tea with ginger and lemon and honey, lemon or lime and honey. This one is just black tea with some milk and honey. Okay, this is the simple version. Yeah. All right. Okay, Cooper says she broke her arm. So sorry to hear that, Kay. How did that happen? How did that happen, Kay? So sorry to hear that. Are you okay? Is it healing? That is so sad. It's so sad. That is so sad. Sorry to hear that, Kay. I hope you're feeling better. I hope it's healing. Everyone watching this, please pray for our friend Kay Cooper from the great state of Texas, who just informed us that she broke her arm. So please keep Kay in your prayers and wish her well so that she can recover from this. Sorry to hear that, Kay. That is so sad. Please keep me posted, Kay, if you're doing okay. Right. All right. Okay, my friends, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so very much for tuning in, for joining me for this conversation. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so. Please do so, right? And yeah, I'm going to be back again. I'm going to go drink some more tea, give my voice some rest. You know, I thought that maybe I should not do a live stream today just to give my voice some rest. And I said, yeah, there's no way. I miss my friends. I'm not gonna skip doing a live stream. I'm gonna miss my friends. So here I am. I said, all right, I'm gonna talk softly. I'm gonna talk slowly, uh, so not to put too much pressure. But I still want to do a live stream, and I did. So thank you all. Thank you all so very much. Okay, thanks for supporting. To the new folks who just subscribed. Welcome to the community. This is a community of freedom-loving people. And I hope, to all the new subscribers, I hope you will stay connected and tune in for future live streams. All right. Thank you all so very much. May God bless you all. I'm going to see you again very soon. And have a good night. Have a good morning. And God bless you. Thank you. I'll see you soon.